Started here. Okay. Good evening, or morning, or afternoon, noon, whatever time it is. Today, I want to talk about the Houston Texans and their monstrous trade that happened last Saturday, I believe it was. It was massive. It was insane. It was the wildest trade I've ever seen in football. It was or trade day, I should say. I don't think I've ever seen a team throw more things at the wall hoping that it sticks than what I experienced with the Houston Texans on Saturday. So let's talk about it. So, as I previously stated, I really didn't want to lose Clowney. Okay, but I really didn't want to lose Clowney unless I got a first round pick. Okay, that's what I wanted. I wanted a first rounder. I wanted an offensive lineman. I wanted both. But most importantly, I wanted a first round pick because that is basically it's what he's worth. He's worth the first round pick, if I'm not mistaken. Who did the Chiefs get? Was it Clark? I don't remember his name. But a player of, I would say, lesser caliber was traded for a first round pick. He went from Seattle to Kansas City. Now you're going to sit here and tell me that Clowney is better than this Clark individual. I believe his name is Clark. No, I'm going to disagree. And so Saturday comes, and I get the alert saying, Clowney is basically about to be traded. And I was like, okay, cool. I've been waiting for this. So I was like, all right. Like I didn't really want to see him go, but we have Whitney Merciless, and honestly, Whitney Merciless is he can be every bit as good as Clowney, and that's an unpopular opinion, but whatever. And I made my peace with it, and I was like, okay, cool. Hopefully we trade him to Miami for Laramie Tunsil. And then it said, oh, he's going to Seattle, and I was like, well, okay, we better be getting a first or two firsts or a first and a second or something good. And here I am eating my taco, and he gets traded for Berkevius Mingo, some other guy who I forgot his name because he's the most forgettable named player in the NFL, but apparently I expect good things from him. And a third round pick. What? I'm sure that you could understand my utter shock at the way we blundered this. I was like, no. First we lose Clowney. Okay, I can make my peace with that. But then not only do we not get an offensive lineman, but we don't get our first round pick. Okay? Not even a second. We get a third. And yeah, so I was not happy. Not happy in the slightest about that one. I'll just be honest. And so there I was, just kind of being depressed about how we got fleeced. We got swindled. Bill O'Brien, I mean, my Texans fans at home and around the world are calling for Bill O'Brien's head. And honestly, for a long time that day, for about a couple hours that day, I was like, okay, I think I can get behind this. You know, I mean, I can get behind letting Bill O'Brien just be shot out of a cannon and into some lake over in Louisiana. But of course not. But I was about done, and I was really sad. And I thought, well, I guess that's it, huh? No justice in this world. No justice whatsoever. But then, 6 hours later, I get the alert that we indeed traded for Laramie Tunsil. So, off the bat, I'm shocked. I'm shocked again, but in a good way. We got Laramie, who is, I believe he's 25, and he's already one of the top left tackles in the league. So that's really good. He's got time to grow. You know, people wanted Trent Williams. I'll be honest, I did too a little bit. Then I kind of jumped on the Laramie Tunsil train a little bit at the end, but I didn't think we were gonna get him. But it turns out we did. You know, mutiny in the Miami locker room. I guess it's happening right now. I don't know. I haven't heard much about that, but anyway, so we got him, and that's basically enough said, right? I mean, I don't need to say anything more, correct? I mean, but I'm going to. So, and then we get Kenny Stills, and nobody's really talking about that, but that's a huge pickup because if you're a Texans fan, you know that anytime your wide receiver catches the ball, or anytime your wide receiver drops the ball, or anytime your wide receiver runs out for a pass, or anytime you're running or your wide receiver steps on the field, you are in the eternal fear that he will blow out his knee, or yank a hammy, or have a bad fall and land on his collarbone wrong, because we were operating with DeAndre Hopkins, DeAndre Carter, and Vincent Smith. Whew. Yikes. Yeah, I don't like that. I did not like that, and I still don't like that. But no more, because hopefully Kiki will be back week 2, and hopefully we won't need him as much as I fear we do. But you know, he's excellent depth because one way or another, our boys are gonna get tired. And when Fuller, I say when, I'm so pessimistic at this point. One of my favorite players in the league, Will Fuller. If/when Will Fuller gets injured, we're gonna need Kenny Stills. So, excellent acquisition, if you ask me. We let Batamosi go. Kind of sad. I liked him. He was interesting. And Rankin, I think we let Rankin go. I know we lost Rankin and Davenport, but those are two of the worst linemen in the NFL, so I'm not worried about that. If you're a Texans fan, you should be worried about the 2 first-round picks and the 1 second-round pick that we also gave up. Yikes. I mean, if you're not gambling for the now, then wow, I'm sorry. But that's horrifying. But at the end of the day, it's the right move, okay? Because you're not going to get a lineman like Laramie Tunsil in this draft or the next draft. So yeah, I do believe it's worth it. And yeah, I've said previously, Bill O'Brien is coaching/GMing for his job. So we're to expect these kinds of things, and the media is catching on. I've been watching as much Texans news out of these, FS1, ESPN morning shows as I can, and a lot of people are sort of catching on, or I say catching on. This is the first time they spoke about Houston in probably 5 months, but they're saying things like Bill O'Brien is coaching for his job, or he's writing checks that he might not even need the cash because, look, my guy is probably going to not be a Houston Texan next year. I mean, let's think about this. I'll say this again just for the sake of, not having to go back and watch other videos. Bill O'Brien has been given the GM position, and I believe if he doesn't bring us to the AFC Championship game, he's going to get fired. And that's kind of the common belief of everyone now. But I started that belief, so remember that when it happens. Anyway, Bill O'Brien, while hated by so many Texans fans, for relatively good reason, I would say, he's actually doing something. Um, so as a Texans fan, I get to see all sorts of other Texans fans and how they react to everything that happens with the Houston franchise. And let me tell you, they're never happy. Ever. And when anything happens, like when somebody gets traded, you know, everyone in Houston thinks, oh, why can't we do that? Why can't we trade for somebody? Why can't we ever do anything interesting? How come our front office never does something? How come we just sit there at the trade deadline acting and sitting on our hands and acting like everything's fine when we know we're going to go 10-6 and losing the wild card round or the divisional round? But for the first time in, I don't know, ever in the Houston Texans franchise, the team is out here making moves. In one day, we got Laramie Tunsil, Kenny Stills, Berkevius Mingo, that other guy like Adams or something. Honestly, I forgot his name. And then we got Keon Crossan, which probably not a soul in the world knows who that is, but he's going to be brought in for special teams. And he's got a thick neck. Anywho, we traded away Clowney, who probably 50% of Houston hated and 50% of Houston loved. So 50% of the Texans fans are probably like, okay, great, good riddance. They're also probably mad about what we got for him, which is understandable. But if you're a Texans fan, this year is a win-win. Think about it. At the end of the year, if Bill O'Brien doesn't bring us to the AFC Championship, he's gone. Or, at the end of the year, Bill O'Brien brings us to the championship. And boom, we're a championship team. I'm telling you, this is a win-win because if you're a Texans fan, you either want a championship game or you want Bill O'Brien gone. There's only two options at this point, and I honest to goodness believe that those two options are going to come to a head this year. And so if you're a Houston fan, you should be very happy because, like I said, those two things, not only that, but Bill O'Brien is making moves. He's the first general manager in Houston Texans history that is actually doing something. Now, I don't remember who exactly said this, but apparently it was Brian Gaine who began the rift between Clowney and the Houston Texans organization. I'm out here cracking voices. Yeah, so he apparently was the one that caused this hullabaloo, this riffraff and brouhaha that went down in Houston. And that's just great. But at least Cal McNair had the wherewithal to cut ties with him when he could, because otherwise, I'm telling you, we could be in some doo-doo right now. Some big doo-doo. But we're not. Well, I mean, okay, we could be. But at surface level, we are not. We are 7 days away. No, not 7 days away. At the time of this recording, we are actually 1 day away. Oh, 1 day away from the Houston. Well, no, not Houston, but the NFL kickoff. And Houston plays Monday. So that's 4 days away. Okay, 4 days away. That's generous. We're 4 days away, and instead of being like, oh, we're probably gonna go 10-6 or 9-7 or 8-8 because we can't protect Deshaun, now we actually have hope that Deshaun will be upright for maybe more than a nanosecond. Look, I'll be honest, anything can happen. And I don't want to speak this into existence or anything, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility of an injury to any of these players that we acquired. Because as a Houston Texans fan, I am not a stranger to seeing all these things. But of course, God bless the knees. I'd rather not see that. Um, and I want us to be healthy and win a Super Bowl this year. But a guy can dream, right? Um, so yeah, I'll finish this trade rant with saying this: Texans fans, enjoy this season because at the end of it, you will get what you want: either a good team or Bill O'Brien gone. Right? I mean that's all you can hope for. And if Bill O'Brien brings us to the championship round, I mean that's it. He's our guy for the rest of it. Whenever he wants to hang it up, that's it. Because that's just how the Texans are going to be, for better or for worse. And honestly, I mean, you can't really fire a championship head coach. Maybe a couple losing seasons afterwards you could, but anyway, I'm going to move on. I'm just going to let this be a Texans themed podcast because honestly, um, that's just how it's going to be today. There's really not much else to talk about other than Goff's fat contract. I guess we can. I'll say a word or two about that. It's so much money. Um, like if you're Jared Goff, man, you're swimming in the dough right now. And honestly, he does deserve it. He's quiet. He's a leader, and just look at the way he just kind of sits back and learns. Right? I mean, I don't want to compare him to Tom Brady, but I'm going to compare him to Tom Brady. Like, he's not one of those guys who's going to come out and be like, I'm the guy. I'm always the guy. And I'm the GOAT. No, he's going to sit back and he's going to learn from his coaches. And that's well deserved. Is he? I don't know if he's the highest paid quarterback or not, but all I know is he got paid a ton. And the guaranteed was fat. I think the guaranteed was the record high number. But anywho, and then Zeke is reportedly getting a 6-year extension, and he will become the highest paid running back. Not really surprised. I don't know. I did kind of think Jerry Jones was going to hold his ground, but apparently not. Wow. And that's what happened today in contract world. All right. So let's predict the Houston Texans schedule. So I'm gonna do this in order, I suppose. So the Saints. Now, I do think the Saints are probably going to have an off year. But they're still the Saints. Alright. I'm going to start with a little boldness here. And I know people think we're going to get bodied by the Saints. And we might lose. We might. But bold prediction. And I don't know. It's not. Is it really that bold? The Saints are what, 1-7 in their last 8 opening season games. I'm pretty sure that's I'm pretty sure that's not good if you're a Saints fan. I'm gonna put this down in the win column, okay? On the W column. Laugh all you want, okay? But just wait till Sunday. We'll see. I don't know. I could see it going both ways. I can see this. This is like a 50-50 shot for me. Now we could get clapped. I can foresee that. But I don't. I think we're going to take this one. I'm not going to lie. I think we are. All right. Week 2, Jacksonville. And that's at home. I'm taking the W on that. I believe firmly that I don't believe in Jacksonville this year. I don't. All right, our first loss of the year, I think we're going to lose to LA. We're going to lose to the Chargers. They are stacked. Now, Derwin James is out. And Phillip Rivers, I love the guy. I can see us possibly winning that one. But I do think that all depends on JJ and Whitney Merciless. If Whitney Merciless can replicate what he used to be able to replicate, then I think he can really do it. I think he can replace Clowney very well. And I think that will be the only way we could. Well, I say the only way. I mean, if you put pressure on Philip Rivers like that, I definitely don't think they're gonna win. But I do think they'll probably take that one. Um, Next up, Panthers. I'm just gonna put a W here. I have no faith in the Panthers anymore. I mean, they could be good, but no, not this year. The Falcons. I really don't like playing the NFC South. I'm not gonna lie, because yes, I just bashed the Panthers, but they're still a formidable opponent, and the Falcons. Say what you want about the most choke-worthy team in the NFL. That's still Matt Ryan. It's still Julio Jones. Their defense is still good. And I think Devontae Freeman will be back. But I'm going to put this in the W column. Yeah, I think so. And oh my goodness. I really want to take a fat bet on this one. You know what I'm going to? We're going to beat the Chiefs. Now, this is where you stop listening to the podcast because you think I'm insane. Yeah, Pat Mahomes is a monster, but I don't know. I think we could. We can do it. We're going to catch them by surprise. And we're going to go, yeah, we're going to go 5-1 to start the year. And then we're going to lose to the Colts, led by Jacoby Brissett. We're going to lose to the Colts. And that's going to suck. And I don't want that to happen, but it's going to. I'm telling you. Jacoby Brissett, he's going to find his groove. I'll say week 5 at the latest, he will be on a roll. You know, he won't be like Andrew Luck, but he'll be ready. And I think we'll lose because that's at Lucas Oil. So I think we'll lose to the Colts in week 7. We're going to beat Oakland. We're going to beat the Raiders in week 8. We're going to beat the Jaguars. We'll sweep them. We have the bye week at 10. The best week in football. No, I'm kidding. We're going to beat the Ravens. We're going to beat the Colts the second time because that's at home. Okay. And here we run into the Patriots. Now, when you lose to one team over and over and over again, surely you're going to get one, right? I really want to pencil this in as a W. I'm not going to lie. And you know what? I think I'm going to. We're going to beat a lot of teams this year. Right now, I only have 2 losses. We have an easy schedule. I'm not going to lie. All we need to do is beat New Orleans, Kansas City, and New England. And we are home free. Okay, so we'll probably lose to one of these teams. So we had the Broncos, Titans, Buccaneers, and Titans again. Now, the thing is, I don't see Houston going on. We should win every single one of these games. You know, I got us beating. I said we're going to beat the Patriots, which is laughable. But, oh, that's really just a toss-up. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's a Hail Mary pass. That's a bold prediction that I'm making here. This is a very optimistic season prediction, and I'll admit that. But we're going to. Okay, we're not going to lose to the Broncos. I just don't see that happening. Now, could we lose to Tennessee? Oh, And Tennessee, we shouldn't. But I think we have the past, like, 3 years or something. So, all right, fine. We're going to lose to Tennessee the first time. Yeah, okay. We lose to Tennessee in Week 15. We come back, beat Tampa Bay, beat the Bucks, and we beat Tennessee. All right. So my final prediction is that we go 13-3, and we beat all the teams we're supposed to beat. Okay, all the teams. Okay, if we lose to all three of these teams, okay, so let's say we lose. Let's say we lose to the Saints, Kansas City, and New England. So that puts us at 10-6, I believe, right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that puts us at 5. Wait, what? Yeah, no, that puts us at 10-6. Okay. Um, that's exactly what people are expecting us to do. But in that case, if we lose to all three of those teams, I don't see us losing to Tennessee. Um, and I don't see us losing to. No, we'll probably still lose to the Colts in Week 7. I'm telling you, man, we gotta fear Jacoby, Obi-Wan Jacoby. All right, optimistic, I know, um, but I'm telling you, again, it doesn't matter what happens in the regular season because if we fizzle out in the divisional round, it doesn't matter. Bill O'Brien's gone at that point. Then we can go undefeated. Well, I don't know. If we go undefeated, then McNair will probably just break and say, "All right, you can stay." But it doesn't matter if we have a 13-3 record. If we don't get past the divisional round, Bill O'Brien's gone. So, as optimistic as I am, I still believe that's the truth. And so, yeah, don't worry about this. Don't get too excited, I should say, because this is what I predict. Yeah, we'll beat the Patriots this year, and this will be the first year. I think the first year we ever beat the Patriots. That doesn't seem right, but it does at the same time. So I think this will be the first time we beat the Patriots, probably ever, if not the second time, but probably ever. And of course, we'll lose to them in the divisional round. Um, so yeah, that's just how it goes around here, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, Jacoby Brissett has a cannon. If I'm not mistaken, he's kind of built, right? Let me look up this guy. Jacoby Brissett. All right, let's go to the most trusted source of all time, Wikipedia. As we all know, Wikipedia never lies. So 6'4", 230 pounds. Look, man, this is the guy. I get why they paid him. Physically, he's great, and he's shown up when they needed him. In the preseason. No, but he's had good preseason outings, and I have confidence in Jacoby. And he's beat the Texans before, so he's definitely gonna beat us again this year, at least once. I don't think he'll beat us twice. Look, man, Deshaun Watson is the Michael Jordan of the NFL. Quote, Dabo Sweeney. So, in Deshaun, I trust. Bless the knees. Thank you for joining me on this Houston Texans podcast.